Everyone is asking the wrong question. They are asking which jobs AI will replace. They are building lists. They are running polls. They are creating headlines designed to make you feel like you are already late. But the real question, the one that actually determines your future, is something completely different. And almost nobody is asking it. What if the last job AI won't replace isn't a job at all? Think about that for a moment. Because here is what most people assume. Somewhere out there, there is a list. A safe list. Jobs at the top are protected. Jobs at the bottom are gone. All you have to do is find your place on it, and you will be fine. That assumption is wrong, and the reason it is wrong will change how you see this entire conversation. In March 2025, researchers at MIT Sloan School of Management published a study that most mainstream outlets barely covered. The paper was called The Epoch of AI, written by economists Isabella Loaiza and Roberto Rigobon. They did not build another list. Instead, they mapped task interdependencies across every major occupation in the United States and asked a different question entirely. Not which jobs are safe, but which human capabilities AI structurally cannot replicate. The answer is not what you expect. EPOCH is an acronym. It stands for empathy, presence, opinion, creativity, and hope. 5 categories, and what Loaiza and Rigobon found was striking. Jobs scoring high across these 5 categories are not just surviving, they are growing faster, they are hiring more, they are projected to remain stable well into the next decade. While automation-exposed jobs are shrinking, epoch-intensive roles are expanding. The economy is quietly reorganizing itself around these capabilities, and most people have no idea. But here is where it gets interesting. Because when most people hear words like empathy and creativity, they think soft skills. They think things that are nice to have. They do not think economic advantage. That thinking is the mistake. Because what the data is actually showing is that soft skills are becoming the hardest currency in the labor market. The more AI automates everything else, the more rare human judgment becomes. And rare things command premium prices. Microsoft ran the largest real-world study ever conducted on how AI affects different jobs. They analyzed 9 months of actual conversations between 200,000 users and their Bing Copilot system throughout 2024. Not theoretical predictions, real usage data. What they found confirmed everything Loaiza and Rigobon suspected. Jobs involving physical presence and direct human connection consistently showed the lowest AI applicability scores. The people most protected were not necessarily the most educated. They were the most human. So what does that actually mean in practice? Think about the nurse who holds a patient's hand at 3 in the morning. Think about the teacher who notices a child struggling before the child says a word. Think about the negotiator who reads the room, shifts tone mid-sentence, and closes a deal that no algorithm could have anticipated. Think about the leader who, in a moment of genuine crisis, makes a decision that requires moral weight, not just probability calculation. These are not things AI is getting close to replicating. These are things AI is structurally prevented from doing, not because of processing power, because of what they actually are. AI is built on pattern recognition. It finds what has happened before and predicts what should happen next. That is extraordinarily powerful for a vast range of tasks. But the moment you enter territory that requires something outside the training data, genuine moral ambiguity, physical presence, lived emotional context, the ability to sense what is unspoken, the model begins to fail. Not slightly. Structurally, economist Eric Brynjolfsson at Stanford has spent years studying exactly this boundary. His research consistently points to one conclusion: AI does not render human skills irrelevant. It raises the stakes for the right human skills. In environments where AI handles the analytical layer, the human layer becomes more visible, more critical, and more valuable. The question stops being, can you process information, and starts being, can you do what the machine cannot? Now consider what this means for how most people are responding to AI right now. The instinct for most workers is to learn more technical skills, to get closer to the machine, to become more like what AI is good at. And that strategy, for many people, is accelerating the very outcome they are trying to avoid. Because if you compete with AI on its strongest ground pattern recognition, data processing, speed, you will lose. Not eventually. Already, the workers gaining ground right now are doing something counterintuitive. They are leaning further into what makes them irreducibly human. The PwC data shows a 56% wage premium for workers who use AI effectively. But that premium does not go to people who simply know how to operate the tools. It goes to people who bring something the tool cannot generate on its own. A point of view, a relationship, a judgment call, a physical presence in the room. The tool amplifies whatever they bring. If they bring nothing distinctly human, the amplification is also nothing. This is the deeper truth behind the MIT research. Loaiza and Rigaud did not just identify which capabilities are safe. They showed that human-intensive tasks are becoming more frequent, not less. New jobs emerging in 2024 carry significantly higher EPOCH scores than the jobs that disappeared. The economy is not replacing humans with machines. It is replacing certain human functions with machines and then demanding more of the human functions that remain. The floor is rising, but so is the ceiling for those who understand what is happening. So ask yourself an honest question. In your current work, what do you do that a language model could not approximate tomorrow? Not in theory, not in 10 years. Tomorrow, if you struggle to answer that, it is not a reason to panic. It is a reason to pay attention. Because the people who are identifying those human irreducibles right now and deliberately deepening them are not worried about the list. They do not need the list. Here is what the research ultimately reveals. There is no single last job AI will not replace. There is something more important than a job. There is a set of capabilities that exist at the intersection of human presence.